Level 1. It is 11:47 p.m. The rehearsal dinner ended 2 hours ago. Everyone went home happy. You said goodnight to your fiancée in the hotel lobby. You kissed her on the cheek. You told her you'd see her tomorrow when she walked down the aisle. She smiled. He was standing right behind you when she did. You go back to your room. You can't sleep. This is normal. You tell yourself it's nerves. You order a ginger ale from room service and you sit on the edge of your bed in your dress slacks and your rolled up white dress shirt and you stare at the wall. You think about the vows you wrote. You practice them in the bathroom mirror 3 times. They are good vows. At 12:23 a.m., you decide to go knock on her door, just to say goodnight one more time, properly this time. Maybe hold her hand for 30 seconds in the hallway. You think it's romantic. You think it's the kind of story you'll tell your kids. You walk down the hall in your black dress shoes. They make no sound on the carpet. You raise your fist to knock on her door, and then you hear something. You tilt your head. You lower your hand, you hear his voice. You know his voice the way you know your own. You've known it since you were 9 years old. You stand in the hallway for 11 seconds, then you use the spare key she gave you 3 days ago for safekeeping. You open the door, you see everything, every single thing. Your brain takes a photograph it will never delete. You do not say a word. You close the door. You walk back to your room, you sit back down on the edge of the bed. You pick up your ginger ale. You set it back down. You look at your vows on the nightstand. They are still good vows. They are the best thing you've ever written. You fold them in half and you put them in the trash can. You sit there until morning comes. Level 2. You do not sleep. You sit in the chair by the window and you watch the parking lot get lighter. At 6:15 a.m., you put on your gray hoodie and your dark blue jeans and your white sneakers and you walk down to room 214 and you knock. He answers the door. He is wearing his shirt from last night and the look on his face tells you he already knows that you know. You don't throw a punch. You thought you would. You spent 3 hours imagining it. Instead, you look at him for a very long time and you say, with almost no emotion at all, I would have died for you. You say it the way a person reads a grocery list. Then you walk away. You call her next. She picks up on the second ring. She tries to explain. You listen to the whole thing. You let her finish. When she is done, you say, I hope it was worth it. You hang up. You realize immediately that it was the perfect thing to say. You will feel no satisfaction from this for at least several years. You sit in the lobby. The wedding planner finds you at 7:40 a.m. She has a clipboard and a headset and a very expensive level of competence, and she looks at your face and she already knows something is wrong. You tell her to cancel everything. She stares at you. You say, the florist, the caterer, the officiant, all of it. She asks if you're sure. You look at her for a long time. She makes a call. You find out later that the flowers were already at the venue. 260 white lilies. Level 3. You are the one who has to make the calls. This is not fair, and it is also entirely how it goes. You sit in the hotel room in your black button-up shirt and your khaki chinos and your brown loafers, and you work through the contact list with the mechanical precision of a man who has nothing left to protect. Your mother, her mother, your uncle who flew in from Tampa, her college roommate, the photographer, the DJ who is surprisingly kind about the whole thing. The hardest call is to your father. You have to say the words out loud. The wedding is off. He asks why. You tell him. There is a silence on the phone that lasts long enough for you to look out the window and watch a family load luggage into a minivan. Your father says, I'll come get you. You tell him you have a rental car. He says, I know. By noon, the entire guest list knows what happened. Not the sanitized version, the real version. People talk. His mother calls you to apologize on his behalf. You thank her and hang up. Mutual friends start texting. Some of them say they're on your side. Some of them go quiet. The quiet ones are the ones who already knew, and both of you understand this without saying it. You drive home alone in the rental car. You are still wearing the boutonniere. You take it off at a red light and you place it on the passenger seat. It sits there for 45 minutes while you drive. You do not know why you don't throw it out the window. Later, you will decide it's because you'd already lost enough things that day. You return the car, you take a cab home, you stand in your apartment, and you look at the framed photo of the two of you on your mantle and you leave it there. You are too tired to deal with it. You leave it there for 6 weeks. Level 4. The fallout arrives in waves, which is worse than if it arrived all at once. The first wave is the sympathy. The second wave is the opinions. The third wave, the one nobody warns you about, is the quiet reorganization of every friendship you have. You are wearing a navy polo shirt and gray slacks and black sneakers, and you are sitting in a bar with a guy you've known for 11 years who looks at you like he's deciding something. You ask him if he knew. He takes a sip of his beer. He says he heard something. You nod. You understand that this is the last conversation the two of you will ever have in this way. Something closes, not dramatically, just like a door swinging shut on its own. Her family decides the whole thing is complicated, which is a word people use when they want to be on the wrong side without feeling bad about it. Your family is furious on your behalf, which is loving and also exhausting, because fury requires participation, and you are running low on everything. Your mother calls every other day. She uses a voice she hasn't used since you were sick as a child. You both pretend not to notice this. He reaches out once, a text. I know there's nothing I can say. You stare at it for 3 days. You do not respond. You eventually screenshot it and delete the thread. You're not sure why you keep the screenshot. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you think you might want it later as evidence of something, though you couldn't say what. By the end of the 3rd month, you have lost 4 mutual friends, 1 couple who couldn't figure out whose side to be on, so chose neither, and a fantasy football league you'd been in for 8 years. The fantasy football league is somehow the one that makes you cry in your car. Level 5. Depression doesn't look like the movies. It looks like a faded black t-shirt and worn blue jeans and white sneakers. It looks like your apartment at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. It looks like the same 3 meals on rotation and a sink with dishes in it and a gym membership you pay for every month like a subscription to a version of yourself that no longer exists. You stop returning calls with the same speed you used to. Then you stop returning them at all for stretches of days. Work becomes the only structure you have and you cling to it the way a man overboard clings to anything floating. You are good at your job. You are better at your job now than you've ever been because your job is the only thing that doesn't feel like a crime scene. You go on 2 dates in the first year. The first one is too soon, and you can feel the grief sitting at the table with you like a third guest who ordered nothing. The second one is a nice person, and you like her, and you feel almost nothing, and you drive home and you sit in your car for 25 minutes before going inside. You stop keeping the photo on the mantle eventually. Not dramatically. You just put it face down one night, and then 2 weeks later you put it in a box, and the box goes in a closet. You keep his photo too, the one from your childhood. From your 10th birthday, both of you holding fishing rods, both grinning. You cannot bring yourself to throw it away and you cannot bring yourself to look at it, and so it stays in the box in the dark with the other photograph, the 2 of them together in there, which you find either deeply metaphorical or simply cruel depending on the day. Level 6. It is 12 years later. You are wearing a light blue button-up shirt and dark gray trousers and brown leather shoes. You are at a work function. Someone asks you if you're married. You say no, you came close once. They say, what happened? And you pause for just a fraction of a second before you give the version of the story that you have polished smooth over the years until it contains no sharp edges at all. It's fine. You're fine. People seem to believe you. You have a life. It's a real life. You have an apartment you like and a job that interests you and a handful of friends who know the whole story and love you anyway. You travel occasionally. You cook. You are, by most observable measures, a functional and even pleasant human being. But there is a room inside you that you don't go into anymore. You're aware it's there. You walk past the door every day. You've learned over 12 years to keep walking. Most days this is easy. Some days it isn't. Those days come without warning, triggered by nothing obvious. A song. White lilies at a grocery store. The sound of your own name said warmly, the way only 1 or 2 people in a lifetime say it. You have not spoken to him since. Once a mutual acquaintance mentioned seeing him. You said, oh, that was the whole response. You moved on to another subject and you didn't think about it until much later that night when you lay in the dark and did a very quiet inventory of everything that the word O was holding together. You still have the box in the closet. You've moved it to 3 different apartments. You've never opened it. You probably never will. And maybe that's okay. Some things don't need to be resolved. Some things just need to be carried until they get light enough that you forget you're carrying them. You look pretty good, actually. You really do. Nobody at this work function would ever guess. You take a sip of your drink and you smile at something someone says, and somewhere, in a box, in a closet, in an apartment you own now, 2 photographs sit together in the dark, and outside the window, the world keeps going, as it does, as it always does.